She was one of the most recognizable faces on Earth, a symbol of freedom, beauty, and rebellion, long before those words became trends. But behind the glamour, behind the camera flashes, there was a story that didn't follow the script anyone expected. A story of fame abandoned at its peak, of ideals that transformed over time, and of a legacy that still divides opinion today. This is the story of Brigitte Bardot, beyond the myth, beyond the headlines. The Rise, a new kind of star. In the 1950s, cinema was changing, and Brigitte Bardot became the face of that transformation. Born in Paris in 1934, she trained as a ballet dancer before finding her way into film. Her breakthrough came with And God Created Woman in 1956. The movie didn't just introduce a new actress, it introduced a new cultural energy. Bardot represented independence, sensuality, and a rejection of rigid post-war expectations placed on women. Audiences around the world were captivated. She became so famous that her initials alone, BB, were enough to identify her. But while fame brought admiration, it also came with pressure few could handle. The weight of global fame. At the height of her success, Bardot was everywhere. Films, magazines, music, fashion. She became a symbol of freedom, yet privately felt increasingly constrained by public attention. In later interviews, she spoke openly about feeling overwhelmed by the constant scrutiny and expectations placed on her image. The spotlight, once exciting, became suffocating. Then, something unexpected happened. At just 39 years old, Ibach, when many actors are reaching their peak, Bardot walked away from cinema entirely. No farewell tour, no comeback plan. Just a clean break. And that decision would redefine her life. A new mission. Life beyond the screen. After leaving acting, Bardot redirected her energy toward a cause that had long mattered deeply to her: animal welfare. In 1986, she founded the Brigitte Bardot Foundation, dedicated to animal protection and welfare initiatives around the world. She funded shelters, supported rescue operations, and used her fame to draw attention to animal suffering, often succeeding where institutions struggle to act. For many supporters, this chapter became her true legacy. But as the years passed, her public voice grew sharper and more controversial. A complex and divisive public figure. Over time, Bardot's public statements began drawing criticism, particularly regarding social and political issues. She aligned herself with far-right political movements in France and made remarks that were widely condemned. French courts later ruled against her multiple times for statements considered discriminatory under French law. It's important to note, these legal decisions addressed speech, not artistic work, and they became a defining part of how the public viewed her later years. To some, she remained a cultural icon who spoke without filters. To others, her views overshadowed her earlier contributions to art and animal welfare. Her story became one of contradiction, admiration, and discomfort existing side by side. A life that refused simplicity. Brigitte Bardot's life doesn't fit neatly into a single narrative. She was a symbol of liberation, and later a deeply polarizing figure. She reshaped cinema, and then rejected it entirely. She inspired millions, and alienated many others. Few public figures illustrate so clearly how fame can evolve, fracture, and transform over time. In 2024, Bardot passed away at the age of 91, leaving behind a legacy that continues to spark debate, reflection, and discussion. Brigitte Bardot's story isn't just about celebrity. It's about how public figures evolve and how history chooses to remember them. Was she a symbol of freedom, a product of her era, or a cautionary tale about fame and conviction? Perhaps she was all of these at once. In our next video, we'll explore how public icons are remembered differently across generations, and why legacy is rarely as simple as it seems. If you're curious about the stories behind cultural icons and the moments that redefine them, that's where we're heading next.